Fight fans all over the world, it's Daddy P with Slap Happy Gorilla. What? Daddy P, Slap Happy Gorilla podcast coming at you late night. Listen, first of all, like, hate, comment, subscribe to the channel. Hit that bell icon so you can be notified every time it go down. Listen, this particular topic, man, Jeron Ennis, Virgil Ortiz, look, everybody calling Jeron Ennis a duck. A lot of perspectives going around. I have mine. And the thing about this particular topic, man, is that Jeron Ennis is a champion at the 147-pound division. Listen. This man is a champion at 147. How in the world is he ducking a fighter that's in a whole nother division that's not a champion? Okay, yeah, you can mention a fight, you can propose a fight, but if you a champion in a weight class that somebody else is not in, you have no obligation to fight them. You know, you got a lot of casual fans. This internet thing, man, is going crazy about this duck situation. The word duck, I'm going to tell you, originally, I ain't going to say originally, but it began to be widely used for champions that would not fight other champions and also would not fight the mandatory. And I don't know how long some of y'all been fans, man, but I know it's a lot of casuals, and I'm not dumping on people for being casuals or being new fans of boxing, none of that, because the direction that boxing is going in, we need casual fans. The direction that boxing is not purely a sport anymore. It's become widely about entertainment and business, you know? And in order for our sport, the sport that we love, boxing fans, in order for it to thrive, this pay-per-view model has to be successful. So with that being said, we need casual fans. We need fans that are on the internet pushing different narratives in order for the sport to thrive. And that's just what it is, you know. It sounds crazy, especially to pure boxing fans, fans of the sport. I ain't talking about fanboys. I ain't talking about people that just ride people coattail, bandwagoners. I'm talking about people that love the sport of boxing as a whole. Now, you know, a lot of people have, you know, fans of certain boxers. I have certain boxers that I'm more fond of, pause, than other boxers, you know. And if you've been following my channel at all, you can go back and watch some early videos. Yeah, I'm a Terrence Crawford fan by and large. You know, that's welterweight. I like a lot of fighters though, you know. But I'm fond of Boots Ennis too. I'm not one that say, oh, I'm just a fan of Terrence Crawford and Boots Ennis don't deserve to fight Crawford. No, I ain't one of them type of guys, man. I'm very fond of Boots Ennis. I believe that Terrence Crawford, his era is beginning to phase out. That's one of my favorite fighters. But I really believe that Jeron Boots Ennis is one of the guys that's the future of the sport. With that being said, look, man, just to give some people that may be new fans or casuals a little bit of history, that word duck is being used a lot, but I'm not saying originally, but it was widely used when a champion would like not they want to hold their belt down and they're not interested in fighting their mandatory. They just want to fight voluntaries and pick fights that they want to fight. And the reason why I say that is because when the word was like starting to be used a lot, that's what it was used to identify. And just to give you an example, Danny Garcia had one of the best resumes at 140 pounds. He fought a lot of guys. A lot of y'all just know Amir Khan as being a glass jaw guy that's like an overrated gatekeeper. But Amir Khan name did ring bells back in the day that Danny Garcia was at 140. And when Danny Garcia and Amir Khan fought, Amir Khan was supposed to win the fight. You know, it was like a thing that, you know, the odds was against Danny Garcia. Danny Garcia knocked him out. And that began the spark of Danny Garcia. That like, you know, he was talked about as an up and coming guy, but when he knocked out Amir Khan, you know, that was a stepping stone in the right direction for his career. And he had some good fights after that too, you know. Lucas Matisse was one of them. Matter of fact, Lucas Matisse probably was at that time the best fight on the card. I mean, they fought on Floyd Canelo undercard, but everybody know what happened with Floyd and Canelo. Floyd just made Canelo look like a elementary school student. You know what I'm saying? So that fight, while it was a fight that showcased the many talents of Floyd Mayweather, it really wasn't like a competitive fight. So to me, and this is my opinion and the opinion of a lot of people, it was a wide opinion at that time. Danny Garcia and Lucas Matisse was like really the best or most competitive and anticipated fight on the card. And Danny Garcia passed the test, you know. That was his test to really say, okay, is this guy, he done knocked out Amir Khan, we understand that. But Lucas Matisse was kind of looked at as like the dark horse or the like the boogeyman, if you will, of the division at the time. So if Danny Garcia got past him, you know, he got his G card. You know what I'm saying? So, hey, Danny Garcia passed the test. Now, at the time, also, Victor Postal became the mandatory for Danny Garcia's belt. And Danny Garcia tiptoed around Victor Postal. Al Heyman, even on Danny Garcia's behalf, paid Victor Postal step-aside money in order for Danny Garcia to fight Lamont Peterson. Lamont Peterson and Danny Garcia fought at a catchweight of 143 pounds. This is what was going to take Danny Garcia to say, okay, you know, I want to fight a little higher than 140 so I can kind of test, you know, test the waters to move up to 147. But remember, step-aside money is paid to guys to say, okay, I'm giving you this money in good faith, and I will come back to you. But Danny Garcia never came back to Victor Postal. This was what was considered as a duck in this time, in this day and time. In the time when Danny Garcia was at 140, Victor Postal was his mandatory. But instead of fighting another champion or satisfying his mandatory, he wanted to fight at a catchweight. So, in essence, they say, okay, you ducked Victor Postal. Like, okay, you used to use the word ducking and dodging. So you maneuvering around fighting who your mandatory is, and you're not fighting a champion. You know what I'm saying? This is what was considered a duck. But people start using this word a lot more. And this is the thing. Now, like I say, you got a lot of like fans that are like casual fans or not really fans of the sport, but just fans of certain fighters. And if A fighter's not fighting somebody they want to see him fight. And just because somebody else said their name or the fight was proposed, now this fighter all of a sudden is a duck. Man, look, Jeron Boots Ennis is a champion. Like I said, he's a champion at 147 pounds. He has no obligation to fight Virgil Ortiz. Now, with all of that being said, would Virgil Ortiz and Ennis be a good fight? Of course. And I'll take it even further than that. It's probably the fight that he should take next. Like I said, as a fan of the sport, I love to see that fight. You know, that fight, when they were both at 147, that was the fight that everybody wanted to see. Because Terrence Crawford and Errol Spence was going through their motions. And, you know, these guys was considered as the future of the division. Because everybody know when Errol Spence and Terrence Crawford would finally fight, they probably was going to exit 147. One way or the other, retirement or just to move up to 54, whatever. Everybody know once the undisputed fight took place, once they got undisputed, either guy, you know, was probably going to move on. Errol Spence had been making that weight, you know, for a long time. And Terrence Crawford, while he hadn't been making it a long time, he was starting to grow into his body and getting older, you know, moving toward his late 30s. So that was like a given. So the next best thing, the next best fight was proposed as Virgil Ortiz and Jeron Boots Ennis. So, of course, I want to see that fight. But I won't go as far to say, man, Jeron Ennis is ducking Virgil Ortiz. Ducking him how? Okay, Turkey Al-Sheikh, yeah, he proposed the fight, you know, to put it on a nice card. And at one time they was doing the 5 versus 5, you know what I'm saying? And that was going to be one of the fights that everybody, and hey, yeah, I wanted to see it too. But Boots Ennis has been very vocal about becoming undisputed at 147. The only way he can do that is unify. And Virgil Ortiz is not in the division. So, with that being said, man, look, Ennis is not obligated to fight Virgil Ortiz. And whatever you want to call him, a duck, whatever, okay, it's whatever. But honestly, it would be a good fight. But I, personally, my opinion, nah, man. How is he ducking him? And this is the thing. The fight was talked about. The fight was proposed. Turkey Al-Sheikh, hey, big money. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, Ennis would be missing out on some stuff if he don't take this fight. And also, I really do believe that, okay, who is he going to fight at 47? It will be hard to get Ennis Stanionis. He's over there. He's fighting on PBC. He usually fights on PBC platform. I don't think PBC would be that quick to offer up Stanionis, you know, to Ennis. If so, it would cost them. Same thing with Barrios. Same thing with Barrios, man. That fight is going to cost Eddie Hearn and Boots Ennis. Ennis will have to, like, make some sacrifices for those fights to happen. Brian Norman, on the other hand, that would be a good unification bout where he could unify. And I'm going to tell you the truth. I think it would be very difficult for Ennis to unify all 4 titles. But to me, if he go ahead and unify with one other title, that would make him a unified champion and then move up to 54. That would be a big statement and a legacy for his career. But at the same time, like I said, man, like if he did something like that, unify another belt and then move up and fight Virgil, of course. These guys are still, you know, fairly young. they got some time, but I'm gonna tell you this: don't wait too long, man. All these fights don't need to marinate. Um, and back in the day, man, they used to fight like, how many times did Muhammad Ali and Frazier fight? How many times, like some of these fights became fights that were like, okay, we do it again. We do it again. It's money in the rematches. You know what I'm saying? Especially when you got two young guys that are like, that's been on a collision course for some time. So yeah, man, I mean, I think it's a good fight. And I think that, yeah, of course, Ennis would be missing out on a lot. He'll miss out on a decent payday with Turkey Al-Sheikh. Um, he'll miss out at an opportunity to fight one of the bigger names. And, these days, I'm not saying it's superstar, but, that's one of the bigger names at even 54. So, of course, yeah, I think that it's a good fight, but I just don't want to go as far as to say that Jeron Boots Ennis is ducking Virgil Ortiz. Like how? And then at the same time, like a lot of people talk about Ennis' last fight. What about Virgil Ortiz' last fight? Like what has Virgil Ortiz even done at 154 pounds for Ennis to be like, oh, he ducking him because he not fighting? Like, what did he do? He got knocked down in his last fight, what, twice? Against Boychuk? So, like, all of this ducking stuff, man, like, I mean, if he was another champion at the division and he was like, okay, yeah, he should move up and, for this championship belt or whatever. But no, Virgil Ortiz is not a champion. I think when he beat Boychuk, it made him the interim champ for WBC. But, I mean, that's not a world championship title, man. And Virgil didn't look as good as Ennis looked in his last fight. So all this duck talk, man, look, I mean, that's kind of premature. And I know a lot of fans of Terrence Crawford, like, I see some guys, man, and I even shout out, man, Tim Bradley, got his channel going now. Ex-fighter that, world champion, all of the above. And shout out to Tim Bradley, but I hear him talking. And everybody know that he's, very fond of Terrence Crawford as well. Like I say, I'm a Terrence Crawford fan. But I'm not gonna like use this as an opportunity to dump on Boots Ennis. Because this is the thing too. And I know it's not the same thing, it's not the same scenario, but it's the same idea. People were saying that Terrence Crawford was ducking Jeron Ennis. Now, at the time, they was in the same weight class, but like I said, everybody knew once Terrence Crawford or Errol Spence, whoever won the fight, was going to move up. Both guys were going to move up. So, Terrence Crawford was going in the direction of, hey, look, I want to move my career along. Like, I'm moving up. He moved up to 154 and fought a champion. He fought for a championship belt. So now, how you go knock a guy and say, oh, he ducking somebody who's in a weight class that he was in, but was not a champion at the time? And then once he did take his belt, as far as being, people call it email champion. I ain't trying to disrespect nobody, but, Ennis got the belt because Terrence Crawford didn't satisfy the mandatory. I really don't think it was, a lot of people didn't really think it was fair that, that mandatory came up that fast. But at any respect, Boots Ennis became the champion. But Terrence Crawford was moving on to, a bigger weight class, moving up for something, whether you like it or not, it's legacy. Because he had already been undisputed at 140, undisputed at 147. So now to move up and get a belt in yet another weight class is legendary. That's stuff that you want for your legacy. So I didn't agree with that. I didn't agree with people saying, oh, he ducked Ennis. How? He was the undisputed champion. He moved up looking for, legacy, trying to expand his legacy. You know, he getting to be in his late 30s. So, but how can I say, okay, how can I defend Terrence Crawford and then turn back around and try to call Boots Ennis a duck when he won't fight somebody in a higher weight class that's not a champion? So that's why I say, man, look, a lot of people that are Terrence Crawford fans are using that opportunity to say that, okay, well, Boots ain't look good in his last fight. He won't fight Virgil Ortiz. He a duck. Man, look, I ain't one of them fans, bro. I'm a fan of the sport. And yeah, like I said, I'm fond of Pauls. I'm fond of Jeron Ennis, what he's doing in his career. I really think that he's the future of those weight classes, 47, 54, even up. I believe he can land at 60 or 68 before his career over and do some legendary things in the sport. But, to pump my brakes and say, okay, look, one step at a time. You have 147, try to get a unification, even if you just unify one other belt. Now you got two belts, then move up and fight. To me, if he want to follow his own plan or a plan that has already been put into action, which he been saying he wanted to unify at 47. And yes, at his last fight, he talked about moving up to 54. But that's his choice when he want to move up. So, hey, that's my take on the matter, man. Y'all let me know what y'all think in the comments below. This Daddy P. Like, hate, comment, subscribe to the channel. Hit that bell icon so you can be notified every time it go down. This Daddy P, man. Slap Happy Gorilla. I'm out of there.